Recording in progress.
Ooh.
Good morning and welcome to another vibrant conversation. And this morning I am really delighted to welcome a very dear friend, Morag Turner, known professionally as Morag G, Sister of the Light. Now Morag is a Magdelene High Priestess, an energy and sound healer, and a soul worker. She's a Reiki master and a meditation teacher. And more especially, she's my friend. She's fabulous. And I have known Morag for about three and a half years, something like that. We're both fairly new to this area. Well, I've returned, Morag moved down. So yeah, I discovered Morag. I can't even remember how I found you initially. But then after getting to know Morag, I was going through an investigation, a medical investigation at the time for some physical symptoms, sort of being dragged along a course that I knew I didn't want to go along. And I knew that the cause of what was going on for me was stuck energy, was trauma, was emotions that was stuck in my body. I just knew that. And so after I'd finished complying with all the stuff that the medical profession wanted me to endure, all the lovely investigations, I knew in my gut that the person I needed to see right then and there to, if you like, kickstart my healing was Morag. And so I went along for some sound healing and it was fabulous, just fabulous. And I knew after that first session that something had shifted and that my body was beginning the process of letting go and of healing. And since then, I've seen Morag for Reiki. I've seen Morag for reflexology. I've attended live sound baths, which are fabulous, but also taken part in the online sound baths and meditations. One thing about Morag is she is enormously generous with her time and has put out and still continues to many things live on Facebook. So when you go, if you go to her Facebook page, you'll find she does live readings. She does meditations and sound baths. She is enormously generous with that which she puts out. So yes, today I would like to welcome Morag. Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm very good. Oh, what an amazing introduction. I'm blushing now.
Don't blush, don't blush. No, don't blush.
I'm good on this today. Yeah. And how are you, lovely?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm enjoying the sunshine. And
Yeah.
I can see you've got lots of beautiful sound bowls behind you. Actually, something I forgot to mention is the fact that you also have an Etsy shop, don't you? And you sell some really fabulous.
Yeah. I've got sound bowls on my Etsy shop, and I haven't got all my stuff on there. So I kind of sell, I call it like a prescription sound bowl service. So if people want to work, with their own energy, want to work on their own, if they kind of contact me and tell me what they want to shift or move, I find the bowl for them, and I can send it to them by post, and they can work with that frequency for their own healing at distance if they can't get to me. So yeah,
that's a really good thing. That's another thing that I've noticed about you, is that you're very much in favor of empowering other people.
Oh yeah, empower. I mean, that is to heal, you have to be empowered, because when you feel a victim of what's going on in your life, that moves your energy to a vibration that makes it very sluggish for you to heal. But when you feel empowered, then your vibration is very different, and healing can be miraculous then when you're in that place. So yeah, I want to empower people to be in their sovereignty and heal.
Yeah, I love it that you encourage people to work on themselves. I just think I mean, we do, of course, at times, of course we do need to go and see somebody to help us. I mean, one of the things that I know from personal experience that is absolutely extraordinary about you, your particular gift, is that you see beyond. You have a gift, and this probably is you describe yourself as a soul worker, and I think that's what it is. You're able maybe you can explain this. You are able to see what's going on for people at a soul level.
And it's
Explain
something,
that a little.
well, it's something I've always been able to do, even from a child, yeah. And I thought everyone could do it when I was growing up and a young adult. And it's only later in life I realized that, you know, most people can't. And it's just something, my soul, and I've understood it as my soul is a very sociable soul.
Yes.
And it loves other people's souls and helping them on their soul journey and helping them, you know, to receive light and helping them with their own soul evolution. Yeah, I just have this I was just blessed that this most amazingly evolved soul decided to, you know, incarnate within this human form. And yeah, and I look at a person and it's just natural for me. I see how beautiful they are physically, but I also see what's going on with them at soul level. So I can see if their soul is vibrant or if their soul is like a slightly detached, you know, if it's not quite in balance, if there's bits of soul missing that need retrieving. I can kind of just see all that in people and work with that. And that bringing, you know, your soul is a third of your capacity to have the most extraordinary life. At least it's a third of your capacity, because you've got your body and you've got your mind and your soul. And if your soul isn't feeling its best and its most vibrant, then that's going to come out in your mind and body. So yeah.
So right now, how are you, tell me how you're incorporating that in your work, and how are you, how because I know that you have evolved and changed, the way you work has changed, not just because of lockdowns, but so how are you working at the moment with bringing all that in?
With clients, I mean, some clients do like to come and see me, which is great because I love the interaction of face-to-face treatments. And basically with clients, I found that the clients that have been working with me or more, or the new clients that are coming to me, they perhaps don't quite understand what's going on from that soul level, but they understand it's not their body, it's not their mind, there's something else there. Yeah. And then I'm working with them using energy work, using sound work, using aura sprays, working at many different levels with their energy system to bring their soul, you know, back into balance, to reconnect them to their soul fully. But of course that can be done at distance as well. I mean, the soul to soul healing I do is a case of literally welcoming someone's soul into my soul and healing them, and that I do at distance. So I've got clients globally for that, and that makes a huge impact when the session is over, about how they feel lifted up, how they feel more integrated, how they feel more positive, more dynamic. They just feel, yeah, much more vibrant. And then that ripples out into physical improvements in their health and mental health as well, because everything's been brought into balance. So everything kind of finds its own equilibrium.
I mean, really, the work that you do, or I know that you really enjoy still hands-on treatments. I know you do. And you love having people in your space to work with. But it absolutely lends itself, doesn't it, to distant work?
It does, yeah, it does. And sometimes, actually, when you've got the personalities out the way and the bodies out the way, the distant work is actually more powerful and profound because it's so focused, if you like. And when I make that connection with someone, you know, the personality and the body isn't there. It's just connecting soul to soul with that person, and it's the process of healing is accelerated because of that. I find the distance work, things move along a lot quicker because we're not actually got mind or body to bring into the equation. We go straight to the soul work, and then that balances out mind and body.
Yeah. I mean, I know also, like me, you do distant reflexology too. And that's been quite an eye-opener, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, we've been on this journey all together, because
It's just been amazing.
Lovely group Wendy set up. And yeah, I mean, I hadn't actually thought before it was suggested that you could do reflexology at distance, but that's amazing, because yeah, it's like going a little, for me it's like going, it's a bit like a shamanic journey, because you're kind of going into the foot almost and working on points and finding out so much about the person through what's going on with their feet, but again at a much deeper level.
Yeah.
And it, as you know, when we've sort of exchanged treatments, and with other people we've exchanged treatments from, you physically, when they're doing a treatment on you, you feel things going on in your foot, don't you, and your legs, and that's, yeah, it's whilst I've always I've never questioned distance work, I think something like the distance reflexology is really good for people who aren't too sure about it, because they will physically feel sensations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that initially took me a moment to get my head around that it would work, but you're right. And the fact that, as you say, for the client, they're physically experiencing something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure they do also with the soul work that you're doing, or maybe not. Just tell me, when you're doing a distance soul work and you're going in deep on a soul level, do you do it in terms of booking an appointment time and the person goes and lies down, or how do you do that?
It's not necessarily that there has to be an appointment time, but generally I do, because part of what the client can then receive is really deep relaxation as part of the session. So if they can actually make it special time for them, and I encourage them to burn oils like candles, find a quiet space where they won't be disturbed, turn off their phone, and then they receive the soul healing, but then at a physical level, they've also received deep relaxation, which just in itself, we know how restorative that can be for mind and body. So they get but I've also treated clients who, in situations where they can't just relax and put everything down. And soul work works just as potently there. Interestingly, during the last year, I've worked with a couple of clients who have been on ventilators.
Oh.
And I didn't actually, obviously couldn't get any feedback from them until they came off the ventilators. And but yeah, they both said that while they didn't know it was me, but while they were actually on the ventilator, they do remember a lot of light.
Wow.
So not I don't think they were going towards the light like people say when they're leaving their body. But they just remember, they both remember a lot of light. So yeah, that's my first experience of treating people who are completely sedated and on ventilators, and
that's extraordinary. Yeah.
Quite an amazing, first gentleman I was asked to treat by his daughter. I had no idea what was going to happen, but but yeah, that was just amazing. And I treated him 3 times, and really, when he came back to this world, if you like, he really, he resonated and had sensations from it. So yeah.
Do you think that for the people who are unable to go and take an hour out and go and lie down and relax, that those people perhaps will receive the benefit of the work at the time that's best for them? So it may well be that once they go to bed that night, let's say, or they're in a more relaxed state than perhaps they were when you were actually physically sending it, that they receive it then. Do you think that happens?
Yeah, because you can do that with Reiki and any distance work. You can send it forward. So if they don't need it for some reason in the moment, I don't know, for instance, I've done work on someone who's in a very difficult court case.
Right.
and they needed it obviously in the moment, even though they couldn't rest and relax.
Yeah.
Don't need it then you can, if I'm working and someone's got to be at work or whatever and our times don't tally up, then I can send the healing to them for whatever time they want in the evening, and they'll receive it then. It's kind of like pre-ordered healing, and off it goes when you need it. But obviously people who need it in the moment, you can still receive it in the moment without having to having to actually be relaxed, if you like to.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. As you say, particularly for somebody in a situation as you just described with the court case or an emergency or an anything. Yeah. I think, because they will be putting it on the level that they need it.
Exactly. And quite often when people are in emergency situations or really stressful situations, your soul does try and leave your body, if you like. so actually being able to communicate with the soul and actually keeping the soul there and in the body and keeping the body calm really helps them in that moment.
That's I get that. That makes a lot of sense. And when you do this soul work, do you bring any of your sound healing into that?
I do occasionally. What I may do is I'll do the soul to soul work kind of within my own soul, and then I invite the soul when it's time to go back to the person, and then when I'm balancing everything out energetically before the session ends, I may use sound work, which I send them remotely. So for it might be just quite often it's quite simple. It's either like I use a bowl for grounding if I feel they're quite scattered, or if there's if like the heart needs healing, then I'll use a bowl that will help with healing the heart. Sometimes at the moment I've been finding people have sort of shut down and it's their crown chakra that needs opening up, so I use a bowl for that. They've been connected to themselves, but with all that's gone on, there's been a disconnect, and they're feeling like a disconnect from the light. So part of the healing is to reopen them up so they can connect again to the light themselves.
Are you finding equally that those people are very ungrounded, or is their grounding quite good?
They are grounded but also stuck, so they're a bit too grounded, if that makes sense. They're not scared. It's like their feet are stuck in mud, and you have to kind of like, well, we need to get you to above the surface of this, so you're grounded on the surface, not stuck. And so actually clear away a lot of sludge from their kind of root chakra, and open up the crown chakra, and then the energy can flow again, and they feel much more themselves. That's kind of much more themselves. So and able to move forward with life.
Yeah, and really at this particular juncture for us here in the UK, at least, this is very much a time of moving forwards.
Yes.
And I know from people that I've spoken to that there are some who are absolutely terrified of moving forward, and who are almost backpedaling or remaining stuck. That to take that step is tricky for some people at the moment. Not everybody, but for some people. For some people it is, and they're but quite often that's obviously what's happened has made people perhaps a little stuck or wary, or they're nervous or fearful. But quite often I'm finding what's actually happened is trauma from the past has come up. And it's kind of like I explain it. It's like you get a load of sticky notes, this event, this event, this event, this event, this event. It's almost like it's all come to the surface. So I almost like visualize clients with a load of sticky notes all over them, and it's got all the little events. And it's kind of like everything's come to the surface. So you're kind of clearing all sorts of things that have happened during their lifetime. But the beauty of this work is you don't actually have to remember or know, or you just clear, and people feel lighter and brighter and more
more in balance, and happier, you know.
Yes, so the person doesn't actually need to, as you say, to know what that particular trauma is and to dwell in it and spend time in it. It's just, would you agree that perhaps one of the, I was going to say purposes, yes, I will use that word, purposes, shall we say, on a cosmic level of this period that we've all been through collectively, one of the purposes may be that it's made us stop in one way or another and has allowed for a lot of healing to occur and things to come to the surface that in a sort of a normal everyday life situation just get shoved down and ignored and overlooked. And do you think perhaps that's one of the reasons we've been going through this?
I think so. I think it's very much, to me, I see that very much as humanity, we have to let more light in, and we can't let that light in, you know, to ourselves, to the planet, to our families, or just be more beings of light until we do some clearing, some housekeeping.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had clients come to me, and one of the beautiful things about the work I do, people don't want to talk about what's happened to them. But it's too much for them to talk about what's happened to them, because I'm very experienced in treating deep trauma, and I'm never surprised what humans can do to other humans, because obviously I've been doing this for a number of years. But they come to me quite often, and they don't have to tell me what's happened. They don't have to go through that with me. I can clear it, and then often once I've worked with them and I've cleared it, they do then choose to share, but it's not part of the session. If you're feeling that you need clearing, if you've had something happen to you years ago that really was distressing, upsetting, you know, abusive, whatever, you don't have to disclose that. You just come and say, I want to relax, and then I set the intention, the client gets what they need from me, and the magic happens.
You're right, it is a kind of magic, or rather that's how it seems, because it is just, we're just, I suppose as humans, we're just beginning to wake up and get our heads around this. So it seems like magic, but actually it's part of who we are. But we've just forgotten.
So much research being done into energy work and sound healing, and
lots.
You know, there's lots of research being done to it, and because obviously years ago, you know, centuries ago, hundreds of years ago, that was the way people healed, and you know, they connected to the earth, they connected to the planets, the stars, the moons, and drew all that energy down for healing. And I mean, I don't do any healing. I want to just kind of, I want to just say that I'm just an instrument for healing. I just have surrendered to the light, and just set the intention that the person gets what they need through me. And I've had, you know, it's really beautiful when you get a client come to you and they're all stressed and nervous and they don't know what to expect because they've never done anything like this before. And they come to you, and the surprise of how well they feel after one session, how much lighter they feel.
Oh yes, I can definitely relate to that. Yeah.
And then they often will book another session and come back, and then they're even more surprised when they come back that actually they kind of retained a lot of what they felt. It didn't just go away. It wasn't just in the moment. And then at a deeper level. But because my years ago I was told I had the worst business plan in the world, because my business is about people healing and moving on with their lives. I don't want them to keep coming back and seeing me. As much as I love seeing them, I want them to actually, you know, be able to get on with their lives.
I would agree with you. I see anybody who works in the field of energy, we are a life raft or a vehicle that takes them from one side of the river to the other. They don't spend the rest of their lives on the bloody life raft. It's not what it's about, is it?
No.
And we're not there just to sort of keep things ticking over or being a little bit okay. It's to get from here to there. and then they take the rest of the journey on their own. They may well come back at some point or other when they're ready to move on yet another step, or perhaps need a little assistance. Yeah.
So something happens in their life, and that's often what I find with clients when they perhaps get to a point in their life and something's happened and they need support, they'll come back to and that's great. But you know, they've actually, I see it like, as you say, they're on the raft, they cross the river, and then I just see there's like some steps, and their own energy feels evolving, and they're climbing up the steps, and then occasionally they kind of get a bit stuck and they'll come back, or something happens, and then off they go again. And that's what it is, to be like a guide on their own emotional journey.
Yeah.
Not you're a guide there for them when the ground gets rocky, but you're not there to babysit them.
No,
you know, they don't need
that. No, this is it. And this is again tying up with what I said about you earlier, is that you are marvelous at empowering people, and you don't want to keep them stuck. You want to give them whatever it is they need in that moment to help them then move on, because and also to realize, as you were saying with the bowls that people buy to use for themselves, to realize that actually they can do a lot of stuff themselves.
Yeah,
right? That's such a gift, I think, to give that to somebody.
Humans are just such powerful beings if they have the belief that they are.
Yeah,
you know? You can create so many wonderful things and healing shifts, and that's kind of like, if you go through life feeling that, and you can help other people connect to that, then it all ripples out, and then we end up with, you know, from my point of view, I think we end up with a society that's far more balanced, because it feels empowered, creative, loving.
Yes. You know? Yeah. But we are at the same time there or here to support one another, because we all have different gifts and we all work at different levels. And it's about, sometimes somebody needs to come and see somebody, it's just like, just sort me out for a moment, help me, just guide me to the path I need to go on, or help my energy to raise to the level that I need it to be at for this next bit.
Yeah, and it's just that, I mean, I've got my my spiritual teacher who I've been working with for a number of years. When I need assistance, I reach out to her, you know, and she said when I started my process that I would become my own therapist, and to a degree I am, you know, I can, what's going on, I work it out and everything. But there are times, but it's not just, I suppose, you know, I could sit there and work it out myself, but sometimes it is also just nice to be held, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes.
Nice to be held by someone and feel that love and that connection. And especially at this time when a lot of us had so much isolation.
Yes.
Just nice to feel that, you know, being held and feel that love vibration. And that's really healing, you know? Yeah.
Even if it's remotely. Through a Zoom connection or whatever, yes, but to know that somebody's got your back in that moment.
There's one particular client I worked with remotely during this whole time. We were at quite a crucial point in her recovery, if you like, and she went through years she doesn't mind me talking about her, by the way. She's always happy for me to kind of chat about her, because she no one else could help her, and I helped her kind of at basically the end of the day. She'd been through all the different modalities and nothing had shifted things, and she just, you know, she kind of wants people to know. So but she the only way we could work through this time was remotely. But she never, I was doing a healing session on her. Some were very powerful and uncomfortable, and some were just loving, but she said, I just felt your love. So in her darkest days, where she was in total isolation, had no support, she felt my love. And that kept her going, one foot in front of the other, to her own, you know, her own healing.
So we need both things. We need to be able to take responsibility for ourselves and come into our own power and do some work ourselves. But at the same time, there are times when we just need that, to be held. I think that's a lovely.
The held,
And for that space to be created. Yes, because actually that's often what it is. It's you're creating for the client with the support of all the multidimensional beings that are there working, supporting the practitioner, the healer, the whatever. But we're creating that space so that the vibration of that space is perfect for that client to be able to shift and make the changes energetically that they need to make.
And it is sacred space.
Oh gosh, yes.
It is sacred space. We're creating the intention for that sacred space, and say for vibration energetically. And I work totally intuitively. I have no idea what's going to happen till I meet my client. There's no plan ever. It's just what I'm presented with, and it can be the same client who's coming to me for years. There'll still be no plan because it's where they are in that moment, and working with them, and what do they need most in that moment?
Yes, I agree. Tell me, I'd love to just touch on your Magdelene Priestess work and how that all ties in, because I found that fascinating. As I don't know that much about it, but I have been aware that you've been going through this over the last, is it 2 years?
Yes, 2 years. So I had no plans to do this course, but I was researching about Mary Magdalene. I'm always going down my little rabbits on the internet and YouTube and books and things, my little rabbit holes. And I was like researching Mary Magdalene, and I've been fascinated about, the historical data that shows that she turned up in the south of France. And I've south of France, I've noticed all the Black Madonnas everywhere. So this started me on a little journey. And then I came across this teacher who was teaching Magdalene Priestess. She had a Magdalene Priestess course. So and with the course, it's like it kind of pulled together a lot of things I knew, but in a more useful format, because they all kind of fitted together and became more useful and powerful working together than little bits and pieces I've picked up over the years. So we're working with sort of teachings from the ancient mystery schools in Egypt, working an awful lot with the light. And then obviously the whole of the course was to kind of weave together your own gifts and talents. But the main aspect of the course was going back through deep healing. So through the 8 Sabbats of the year, on each of those 8 Sabbats of the year, through the Celtic wheel of the year, we were going through deep self-healing. And as someone who's a healer and a light worker, the more healed you are, the more light can come through you. So really, for me, my sort of job, if you like, in this world is to heal myself. And it's not just healing myself from what's happened in this life, it's previous lives, it's going through my mother line, healing all of that through generations, so that the more I heal, the more light can come through me. If that makes sense. So the first year is about deep healing, and then the High Priestess course is further healing, but it's done in a different way, presented in a different way. It's very much not being guided and nurtured by the teacher, but actually standing alone and healing yourself in your own sovereignty, giving some tools to do that, but and going deeper and deeper, and revisiting things you thought you've healed. That's done. I've done that, and then there's still something niggly going on, and then when you revisit it, you go deeper into that healing, which releases you further from whatever it is you're healing. But again, with this course, what I found very lovely about it is, one, the teachings were so wonderful and powerful that it was all online. There's no meeting of other beings. There was an online group, but there was no actually meetings of other beings. So there was support there, you know, if you needed it. Yeah, it did go really deep, and you did find out about yourself. You know, I found out a lot about myself, as well as learning useful skills. So my version, but again, with doing the Magdelene Priestess course and teaching it to people, my version is taking bits of what I was taught, but also a lot is what I've channeled as what's my soul path to do with this information. So it's not just regurgitating what my teachers told me.
No.
It's opening up my soul and saying, right, okay, I've got these little bits of information and these tools and everything, you know, what's my path for sharing this with the world? So through lockdown, I've done quite a lot of channeling to find that out, and hopefully I've put August aside to actually bring everything together, make the recordings, and get everything set up on the internet for sharing it in September.
So you will be, yes, so you will then be facilitating your own Magdelene Priestess training. Fantastic.
It's training for people, and they can go through this process, which I think is, you know, it is so transformative, and it's presented to people in a much simpler way than a lot of material that I've kind of come across, you know. And whether people want to go on and you know, teach themselves, or whether they're just doing it for their own personal healing, doesn't matter. It's just valuable, and it's something that, again, doesn't take that much time, you know.
but it is a year. But
it is a year, but you're not constantly having to do, like with a lot of courses, you're having to do homework and essays and all stuff. So it is, you know, it is a year, and the actual exercises you have to go through take about 2.5 hours on the 8 Sabbaths of the month. They're broken down into 3 different sections, but time-wise, that's all they take. Obviously, there's other things that go on within the time frame, because you continue working with the energies yourself within the time frame, but you're not actually physically having to sit down and do something, if that makes sense. No. That all just happens organically, working with the energies that you've connected.
And I love the idea that there's even though it's an online course, that there is a group. Would that be a Facebook group that would be a private closed group for the people on the course? Is that what you mean?
That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. I think it'll be a Facebook group, but yeah, I think it'll be a Facebook group, but if not, it'll be some sort of group,
on some platform or
other. Some sort of group, and it will be private, and you know, people can share things on there. And then I'm also going to offer the opportunity to people, if they want to work more deeply with me while they're doing the course, then there'll be some slots where we can work one-to-one every month as well.
Nice.
So people, you know, they can choose, I'm going to work mainly on my own and just have a bit of support and input from the group, or if they want to work one-to-one, then they'll get monthly healings on top of the work they're doing from me at distance and support. So that'll be available if people want to work like that as well.
And will you will it still be called Magdelene Priestess course?
Well, I haven't quite decided on that yet, because I keep different. I think it's going to more likely to be something around Sisters of the Light, because to me, what this work is, yes, we're using some of the teachings from Magdelene Priestess, but my soul path is to support people in being beings of light. So I'm kind of thinking more along something like Sisters of the Light, because that's kind of the name I was given a while ago, and it seems to me that's, you know, Sisters of the Light, or what's the other one, the Light Weavers, weaving light into your life every day. But to me, that's my sole purpose, to bring light to people, to bring light to the earth.
Yeah.
Through just the power of surrender, you know, surrendering to a higher being, a higher force, whatever you want to name it. And yeah, and I think helping other women, it will be mainly women. I'm not discounting that men can't do it, but it just seems a very feminine energy within the teachings, which will mainly attract women. And through that, them, you know, helping them surrender to the light. So it is a course which is going to facilitate a certain amount of awakening in people.
Yeah.
Their own
I think
awakening.
people are hungry for that at the moment.
Yeah, because they've got these strange things. They don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the course is, that's one of the kind of real joys of the course, is when you're going through that period of awakening and you really don't know quite which way's up and what's going on, and you lose track of time and all these things go on.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's no kind of structure in your life. It's really, you have to keep setting things on your calendar to remind you, you know, and on your phone. If I didn't have a phone, I don't think I'd have got through these last couple of years, because it's kind of like beep beep beep, oh, I've got to do something.
Oh, it's Monday already.
Exactly.
Yes,
Don't even know. And the months and the days all disappear. And there's a structure there which brings you a point of focus where you can actually ground again.
Yeah.
Be opened, and then you can go off again on your journey. But those little points of structure, I think, are quite valuable in themselves to help people through this.
And nice to work around the Sabbaths. Again, that's some structure there. Oh, we're there already. Yes, yeah.
Seasons, and also introducing to people how powerful it is to work with the energies of the seasons, you know, the planets, you know, the planets, the stars, and through all of this, I've really got a much deeper understanding about how the planets, you know, how they connect to every chakra. And then you've got, even with the sound, different tones connect to the planets, and how it all connects up. And as you join the dots, you access something that's, you know, so potent, so powerful, so empowering. Yeah.
And so all the people who attend your course, that again will have this ripple effect, because throughout that 12 months period, they will have grown so much that they would have awoken to aspects of themselves that they didn't know were there. And that ripples out, and then they will take it and do with whatever is right for them into the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and just being more light is you know, a big blessing to the world, you know, channeling more light. But yeah, they take it out there. And you know, we work with goddess energies, and for me, goddesses are always just a kind of, they're not something external. It's just part of who I am and who everyone is. You know, they're just little parts of you that you've disconnected with, not remembered, being disconnected from them, cut off from them. Yeah. And we're all, you know, we are all goddess at the end of the day.
Yes, yes. And God too, with the yin and the yang and all those beautiful elements of this.
Yeah, the masculine and the feminine energy. And but yeah, the feminine energy is all about your intuition and your creation, and but you need to make that kind of a useful thing. You need the masculine energy to ground you and make all these ideas and creativity into action. So
yes, it's no good floating around like a fairy, is it, with lots of wonderful ideas but not actually grounding it and creating anything from it. Yes. So she who's been a bit of a floaty fairy at times. You know,
it's nice being a floaty fairy, but like with my course, in order to create it, I've channeled all this stuff, but in order to create it, I've had to work on grounding myself, inviting the masculine energies in, so I can, you know, record it and upload it and do all those kind of technical things. That requires that action side of me. So
Yes, it's all that side of things. I know that at times you've said to me, oh, I've been investigating something or other because it's to do with putting my course together, and it's a technical thing. And all those things, I mean, for me, they're a bit like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't like that. But yeah, we've got to do them, haven't we? They're all part of it.
And that's part, you know, just as much as healing, being able to do these things is part of it.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's no good having as one I did an online course about online courses, how to create and do them, as the teacher pointed out to me that it's no good cooking all these delicious brownies and then just sitting in the corner eating them yourself. You have to go and share them with the world. So you need to do stuff to be able to do that.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and that was the way she's put it, which worked for me. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
I have to share
I love the fact that having done the priestess training yourself and the high priestess, you are now taking it your way and sharing it with the world your way, and you brought in aspects that are completely different to your teachers. She had her way, you've got yours, because you're both. So I love that. Yes, I really do. I think it's great. Can you please, for the benefit of everybody watching, just let us know what is the best way to contact you? Do you tell us about your Facebook page or your website? What's the best way?
Go to my if you go to my website, moragturner.com, there's a link on the homepage to my Facebook page, so you can like my Facebook page from there and join in. You can either there's a contact form on my website that you can fill in if you want me to connect with you via email, or you can message me on Messenger or through Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp.
Oh yes,
WhatsApp, yeah. I'm connected to WhatsApp via Facebook now, so you can WhatsApp me, and usually I offer most people like a free, I call it like a free meetup call. So you can book them on the website, on the homepage of the website. There's a button, and you can actually book one of those, and that's a free chat on the phone if you want to have a chat on the phone about anything. And if you don't fancy chatting on the phone, we can do it by Messenger. So yeah.
Yes, that's really good, isn't it? So that people can ask the questions and see if there is the right fit, because that's so important, isn't it? There are many, many, many incredible healers, therapists out there. But there is an energy exchange, a resonance. You find the person at the right frequency for you.
Yes. Yeah, very much so, and that's why I'm really happy to embrace, connection before people come and see me, because I want them to feel I'm the right person to serve them, and to be sure about that, and to feel comfortable with me as well. And they can ask any questions about the work I do, and and even like during the sort of pandemic, there's people who are worried about coming to see someone and wanted to know, what measures are in place.
Of course, absolutely.
I can explain to them, and we can work out a plan that works for them.
Yeah.
So they feel in a safe space. So all of that can be pre-discussed and questions answered.
Yeah, no, I think that's really lovely and really important. And presumably once you've got all the final ends tied together for your course, information, how will you present information about that so that people could sign up? Would that be through your website or through Facebook or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit on my website at the moment, but it's not finished. So it's kind of, I put it out there because it's
definitely. Yeah.
It's growing and it's going to be there. But then I'll be kind of doing stuff for Facebook and Instagram and advertising it. But and if people sign up for, I've got like a free Mary Magdalene kind of meditation that they can sign up for, and I've got their email, then I can email them when the course is available, and they can have a look at it and see what they feel about it then.
Beautiful.
Yes,
and you're still, I believe, doing some they're often impromptu, I think, aren't they? When you come live on Facebook and you feel drawn, I think, to sometimes send a sound healing out for people, or a meditation, or draw cards. You do readings sometimes, so those things are still happening too, aren't they?
Yes, that's still happening, and I kind of went quiet for a while because I was going through a period of my spiritual teacher called it marinating, and I
Marinating.
created and matured. Apparently,
Yes.
I've created and matured now. So I was going through I felt like a crab who'd shed its shell, and I was very happy without my shell, but I was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? What offerings have I got? What's going on? And there's definitely I've had my own vibrational shift, so my offerings are now in line with that. So, but there's going to be a lot more on Facebook and Instagram now from me, because I'm feeling, I've marinated and matured.
Yes, you have.
Time to come back out in the world, share these new offerings or this new energy, this new vibration.
That's absolutely right. When our vibration is being raised, I've sort of looked at it similar in a way to as you just said about the crab, but it's almost like our energy field becomes very fragile, because when I say breaking down, I don't mean it's destroying, but it's going through that metamorphosis. It's probably a little bit like being in a chrysalis, and it's all gone to mush, and it's fragile, and we need that space, because it's changing, and the energy, the frequencies coming in need to be incorporated and processed and grounded and become part of us. So I get that.
And I mean, I was still treating clients hands-on and doing distance treatments and things, but what I'd call like the other offerings, they kind of went a bit kind of quiet because of this change.
Of course, no, I get that.
But now I'm really excited about August. I feel there's the energy building for August. So I don't know what I'll be offering in August on the Facebook, but there's going to be a lot coming. Lots going on there. I just feel it's time to come out in the world. So.
And I love it that you have this incredible trust, that you don't ever stress about, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be putting out there. You do just say, I don't know what's going to be coming, but I know that something is. And you're amazing at that.
When I go on Facebook, I never know. I'm just guided to go and share. And I'm thinking, well, what I got to share? Well, you'll work it out along the way. And
I love it. I just love it. You are an absolute delight, and you have an incredible gift to share with the world. So it has been an absolute delight chatting to you this morning. Thank you so much, Morag.
Thank you so much for inviting me, lovely.
I really enjoyed it.
Being as well. So it's been a pleasure.
So we shall watch the space, and people can find you on Facebook. And when I put the post up on the Vibrant Life page, perhaps what you could do is, if you go into the comments underneath and just put any links there that you want to share with people, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's good. And as I say, website's easy to remember, moragturner.com, moragturner.com. So but once you put it up on the page, I'll go investigate and
lovely
put links up for people.
Well, go and enjoy the sunshine. No marinating today. Go and get out in the sunshine.
No, lots
yes.
skipping around in the sun today, I think.
Because I think the weather's going to break in a couple of days.
No.
Yes, I think we're in that plucky stuff. So I think get out and go and enjoy the sunshine. And thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care. Bye. Bye.